This week's Ark Community Crunch was as bare bones as one can get. So much so that it included a reference to the community corner in the title. And that's to be expected after the emotional letdown from last week's huge ASA info dump and simultaneous Ark Survival Evolved official server shutdowns, but that doesn't mean we don't have news to discuss. Actually, quite the opposite. We've got a bit of continuing news concerning official server saves for ASE, Ark 2 hype beginning to gain momentum, Snail games and some recent reporting, and then we've got some questionable actions taking place over on the official Ark Discord server. Thanks again for your continued support for my Ark news uploads, as the reception for last week's episode really blew my mind. In case you haven't yet done so, please hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. Chapters are always available for a smooth and hassle-free viewing experience. And here we go. Studio Wildcard posted Community Crunch 382 last night, and as expected, there was nothing here to capture our interest. And I say as expected because after last week's emotional Ark Survival Evolved official server shutdowns, after 8 years of continued adventures, there was basically nothing Studio Wildcard could have done outside of dropping a new Ark Survival Ascended trailer that could have matched the intensity of last week's event. And FYI, they did not showcase anything new for Ark Survival Ascended. It's been several weeks since we learned that Dreadnoughtus has been chosen the winner for Extinction, and last week's feature was for Shastasaurus. But Wildcard did note this and mentioned we should expect to see the concept and dossier for Dreadnoughtus in the coming weeks. At this point, we are stuck somewhere in time between the much-anticipated reveal of Ark Survival Ascended and whatever is currently happening with Ark Survival Evolved, which, by the way, saw a sizable uptick on Steam player counts, jumping back into the top 20 most played games, slotting into the 18 spot, and in strong company, along with Rainbow Six Siege and Warframe. Probably aided by the recent buzz around the closing of official servers, along with some players simply waiting until the last minute before completing their save file transfers over to private server hosting. Access to PC saves can now rent a server from Nitrado, who are able to host both PC or console saves, and it is stated that importing the save games over to Nitrado servers requires a one-click web interface, and there is a discount code available for server rentals for every platform except Xbox. And I would be interested to hear your thoughts on the ease of moving over the save files, which is as easy as claimed with just one click. And what is the story behind Xbox being excluded from the server rental promo discounts? Could this have been related to previous revenue splits between Xbox and Ark? Let me know in the comment section below. As far as Ark 1.5, aka Ark Survival Ascended, there's been quite a bit of community speculation just based on the very limited images available and technology incorporated within the Unreal Engine. But recently, there was a slight update to the Twitch description for this upcoming release, as posted by Ark Ascended News to Twitter. And of special interest is the portion of the post that says, the base game will include the island, SOTF, which is Survival of the Fittest, and all of the non-canon DLC maps, which will be added to ASA over time. And while not technically incorrect, as Wildcard has stated that they will be released over time, it doesn't have the exact ring of truth to it, as only the island will be available at launch, and since the game will be designated as an early access release, it will give Snail and Wildcard the freedom to make wholesale changes to the release content and schedules as they see fit. If Ark 2 becomes the top priority, which I have stated I believe it will be, early access allows the studio to halt all production on Ark Survival Ascended and move over to Ark 2 mid-development with little to no repercussions from the consumer base. And speaking of Ark 2, we've now seen a strong return to this next chapter in the Ark experience, as it is vaulted to the number 6 spot on Steam's most wishlisted games. But ever since it was first unveiled, way back in 2020 at the Game Awards, we've not seen anything further from this game other than repeated delay announcements. Latest reports place the release date sometime in late 2024, or even later, if this digital domain press release is to be believed, pushing it back even further to spring 2025. All we know so far is that Ark 2 will feature Souls-like melee combat, and Wildcard CEO Doug Kennedy has stated that Ark 2 will do something which has never been done in video games before. Now, there are several interesting backstories to Ark 2, with the one gaining the most attention being Ark Survival Ascended's coming into existence, claimed by Wildcard to be an evergreen true Ark survival experience, hinting towards their concerns for how the gaming public will take to Ark 2 and its fundamental combat and overall experience differences from Survival Evolved. Shifting gears, and an area of Ark that has been receiving a lot of recent attention has nothing to do with the game itself, but instead with Snail Games, owners of both the franchise and of Studio Wildcard, the development studio behind the entire Ark franchise. Now, the clause and trigger mechanism for Snail selling exclusive rights to host Ark servers to Nitrado has been well reported on, but several recent videos taking deeper dives into Snail and their incredible talent of money mismanagement have recently been posted by Nooblets. I've commented on them publicly and been asked by Ark community members via DM to create parallel videos to further expand the amount of eyes on this subject matter. But in all honesty, Nooblets has done such fine work here, it makes more sense to just check out his uploads on both of these topics. I will of course provide links to the reference videos, and I highly recommend you check them out for yourselves, but I'm now going to comment on a few of the items he covers. The first has to do with a specific section of the August 8K SEC filing in which Snail Games outlines their agreements with Marbus, doing business as Nitrado, and essentially how ASE, ASA, and future server hostings will occur. It also outlines the millions in loans being made from Marbus to Snail Games USA and the terms for loan repayment. Now, Nooblets makes specific mention of a portion of the agreement that, and I'm going to paraphrase quite a bit here, would essentially give Snail Games a mechanism with which to shut down Ark Survival Evolved private servers and the ability to continue renting such servers. I believe it was in Section 6 of the agreement, and in the overall scope and interpretation of this wording, I'm in total agreement with Nooblet's theories. From what I am seeing here, and in the wording, there is certainly a mechanism with which Snail could pull the plug on Ark Survival Evolved server hostings, effectively pushing all players over to purchase Ark Survival Ascended and losing their entire save files, that is, if they wanted to continue playing Ark at all. And to openly say that Snail Games would be crazy to do so, and there's no way they would ever pull a stunt like that, never underestimate Snail Games and their desire for even more money. Logic, loyalty, and everything considered moral and ethical is thrown straight out the window when discussing this particular organization. The second video Nooblets posted about Snail Games' CEO Shi Hai and this failed electric car company Indy EV was one that I had read sometime in the past and never continued to explore. Now, the fact that the venture amounted to millions in losses resulting in bankruptcy doesn't surprise me, as we consistently see Snail Games follow this very same MO, investing in and then quickly squashing new IPs, always looking for that next quick hit and usually resulting in far more investment than return, with only Ark and perhaps Atlas, an Ark mod turned game, as the two exceptions to this rule. With all of this talk of Snail Games, Studio Wildcard, ASE official closings, Ark 2's fundamental Souls-like differences, and of course, all eyes fixated on Ark Survival Ascended, naturally emotions are going to be running high, both in the community and within the studio, leading us to some hot comments being lobbed in by both parties. Now, since I am not involved with or associated with any portion of Ark corporate functions, I can say and post whatever I feel about the game, and I can do so unfiltered. The same can't be said about Ark team members, and this recent exchange between an Ark Discord member and community manager Dolly has created quite a bit of buzz within the community. Feelings and interpretations for Dolly's tone have been expressed on both sides, some supportive, others calling her words I will not repeat. But when the emotions and the intent behind a response are being evaluated far more than the body of the text, that attempt to communicate is a subject failure. Then again, perhaps that was the direct intent of the message, and in that case, this response was a resounding success. Probably a good place to call it into this one. Sound off in the comment section below about anything Ark related, and I will do my best to respond. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. All my socials can be found in the video description below. Shout out to the now over 172,000 of you that have stuck with me, and a special thanks goes out to my patrons and to those of you sending over those lovely YouTube super chats. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.